Time now for this week's Goofy Award, but not before I tell you, why aren't you going to moneytalks.net and checking out all of the kind of stuff? You can obviously always get anything you missed on today's program. You can get on the Reported at or the Real Canada Player. By the way, I was just down in the States. I would drive around with my cell phone on with the Real Canada app and listening to the stations. It was great. It was just like I had Canadian radio in the car. You should check that out. It's great fun. But also, of course, go to moneytalks.net. So many good articles on it on a daily basis. But if you miss anything, you can go right there and get it. You can also join us on Facebook. Time now for this week's Goofy Award. First off, honorable mention to BC Premier, NDP Premier John Horgan, who had what I call the "Are you kidding me" moment of the week, when in response to Alberta promising to introduce legislation this coming week that's going to give Alberta the power to reduce oil flow and oil product flow into British Columbia, which could in turn, of course, push the cost of gas, diesel, jet fuel much higher in BC. Premier Horgan stated in quotes, "I don't believe legislation that would put an adverse impact on the people of BC is in anyone's interest," end of quote. He went on to call it inflammatory. You mean like saying he'll use every tool in the box to stop the Kinder Morgan pipeline and thereby deprive the Alberta government of much needed revenue, somewhere in the neighborhood, by the way, of about $1.5 to $2 billion a year? I think that's a Hall of Fame comment of the pot calling the kettle black. So on to this week's Goofy. So much talk about fake news. Come on, that's one of the big stories of the last couple of years. Fake news, whether it's the establishment talking about fake news, you got Donald Trump throwing the words out all the time, the media bemoans it. Members of the federal Liberal government have regularly talked about the dangers of the misinformation and fake news, led by Heritage Minister Mélanie Joly. For example, in a July 6, 2017 memorandum to the minister, her staff described fake news, including state-sponsored content, as a public policy issue. Now let's go to this week. Blacklock reports that 10 agencies of the federal government had paid a national news broker $576,623 tax dollars in 17 different contracts to place stories in weeklies across Canada without any indication they were written by employees of the federal government. That's their definition of fake news, state-sponsored content. This is contra to any journalistic standards and downright deceiving. And even more goofy, come on, what an incredible waste of tax dollars. $576,623 to be exact in 2017. Oh, you couldn't make that one up if you tried.